Greetings, world. You don't know I go by the name Stonebwoy from Ghana, the Beam Nation president, aka the Livingstone, the Torture, right here in London, representing on the Afrobeats podcast with Adeshope, number one, the energy god. Tune in, don't log off, log in, you know it's it.
That's where I get all my energy from. From the stage to the studio and to my desk. I am the energy god. And you can be one too.
You're listening to Adeshope Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to a brand new edition of Adeshope Live, the official Afrobeats podcast, right here in the Afro Media Studios in London, where we break down the hottest topics within the culture. And most times I'm joined by a special guest to chop it up with me right here. As always, this is brought to you by the Energy God Energy Drink. Drink and stay energized. This is for us, by us. So go to energygod.com, support the movement, order some crates, put some money in the kitty. You know how we do. And as always, this is also supported by Anchored Car Sales, the best car sale company in the United Kingdom for us. If you want a special type of VIP car, a run-around car, maybe your wife needs a car to pick up the kids, maybe you need a fast little sleek something, check out Anchored Car Sales. Tell them that I sent you, and they'll give you a personal advisor that would help to pick the best car to fit not only your bill, but also what you want it to do. Anchored Car Sales on social media and anchoredcarsales.com. Now, in the studio with me all the way from West Africa, the Black Stars, Gold Coast to be exact, via the United States of America, now currently in Europe, London, England. It is the Big Nation boss.
Wow.
Stonebwoy!
Beep, beep, beep. Yes,
My brother, I said via the United States of America.
Yes,
You're currently coming off tour
Yeah.
from America. How do you feel? How are you feeling at the moment, bro?
Really, I'm feeling very grateful, very, very, very grateful. And, I actually, owing to that, I was on TikTok Live for for a while. That's Sunday.
Yep.
Today, today's Tuesday,
yep.
Sunday, because I flew from New York on Sunday, but I had done my last show in DC on Fillmore. It was mad because the winter, you can understand.
That's
what
a
goes
very
on in the
important
winter.
part for us, Fillmore, DC.
We announced six dates.
Yep.
For the US, and including Canada, which was the sixth one. So we touched Chicago. It was nice. They came out there at the outset, just to continue to promote the up and running album that has released featuring Spice on there, that has Wyclef on there for Pray For Me.
Yep.
So it's amazing. I took it right through from last year, pushed it, and we're only in March. It's only the 4th day, so it was great. The turnout was solid. We had like sold out situations, and as long as I've been in the industry, we're still very young. This is an experience for me. I can say this should be my very first solo winter tour, because it's not easy to have people come out for
in
you
the
in
cold,
the winter.
especially in places like America where the
in
cold
Chicago,
is bitter.
In Canada, I actually saw it firsthand, experienced it as well, and I'm so grateful for the love. Owing to the changes and the dynamics of the industry over a period of time, where you realize that we are fortunate enough to come from, around the eras of the Wizkid, the Burners, the Davies. That's our class now.
Absolutely.
And still to be here,
to be relevant,
and have amazing, different. I can say Gen Zs coming out. The reception, I've been grateful. So I jumped on the live, and then guess what? Thanking them, just being very appreciative, because this that I do as a career has seen a lot of heights from when it started. I've actually broken a lot of odds because I've studied the predecessors, and I really want to add something, as like what I bring into the table. And I think as the role that I play as a pioneer of Afro dancehall reggae music, it's a great success that has a lot of people joining in that. And to see that till this morning, the reception has grown over the years. The class the classes that I appeal to is like wide.
It's diverse
It's
now.
diverse and very well legit. Of course, from I can say from presidency to the last guy in the hood, because I come from the hood anyway, and that's very beautiful to know. Whereby there's a large appeal to the female
That
fan
you still
base,
connect
as
to
we
those
still
people.
connect. And some of the songs that I was performing on there, and I'm so grateful.
I saw videos and
So
it
super
was
grateful.
going crazy. Like
So we're in London now, to continue
London,
it, you know.
you're here. You've got a show on the 8th of March. First of all, what were your expectations when you set out from Ghana to go on this tour? What personally were you thinking about? What did you want to see?
Thank you very much. I mean, before I even got out, somebody would say nervous because you don't know what to expect. First point was that elections had gone on.
Yes, there was a change in
President
government.
Trump is in government, and we all are witnesses to. If you follow political news, we saw the action that he put in the system.
Yeah,
Whereby majority of the fan base that we would believe that would
Diaspora.
come out, the
African
diaspora, especially
diaspora.
where New York was cleared dry, of people that would come to, so that was
yeah,
like,
because I think we heard that
the
so
ice
there were
situation
events
where, like,
where
you know what I'm saying?
ice- Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
so our people weren't going out.
It's, and how do I even put this already? Like, December are just gone, so who can fly back is flown back. And then those who can actually do the winter situations now, I would count myself as one of those because the shows were in February.
Straight right out of
And the incidences were like the news all over. I personally, when I was going through, we see videos of people not being able to go nowhere, the panic in the system. So that alone was like, before I set out. So it was a challenge. I felt like, can I? But you see, for me, I love to challenge myself. I am one person who would perform to one person as though I was performing to the stadiums that I do. So I don't relent back on whatever it is. So I knew, okay, let's go, let's push this. This will be an experience. And God being so good, it went through. We got into New York. I went to Miami to shoot 2 videos anyway. So I connected with YG's father, who's my good friend.
Wow.
Yes, Uncle Rohan Mali, got a few vibes going on. Also linked to it, just a few things that will be popping out anytime soon. Some stuff with, if I can mention, we're doing some projects that has Rick Ross and Khalid in there. Wow. So we're managing to, do a few undergrounds. Did that. Was supposed to go for a recording camp in one island country, but due to the same situations, I'm like, bro, I'm not.
You don't want to take any risk,
now, bro.
Let me just stay here and compete.
Because even citizens are scared.
Yes.
How much more you were the whole West African in the craze?
You were they give it just to come do small work.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
So we did that, and interest. I'm grateful. I'm still filled with a lot of gratitude because the timings that we find ourselves is difficult.
Yeah, it was a sensitive time.
Yeah, and as a Ghanaian artist as well, the truth needs to be told. We are only a handful trying to break the narrative.
Pushing.
We are only a handful. And you realize that the odds are also against us from the internal space. Believe you me. And we all know this is not any secret any longer. So for a typical Ghanaian artist to be able to be pushing, you must know that we're doing so much. And I'm fortunate to be obliged to be one of the people in the forefront for a while now. And therefore I said, let's kick it. We did it. It was nice. Jumped on a TikTok, that I hardly do. Yeah. And Peller joined in. I'm like,
the Nigerian influencer Peller.
Yes, and then this guy joined in too, Sabinus. I'm like,
That's
Sabinus
big.
was like, nah, bro. One of my songs on the album, which is Better Thing featuring Duncan Mighty, the OG, is buzzing. And so it's like, no, we need to. He was singing the song literally.
Wow.
I'm one person who, as though we've achieved a lot of success in the creative space, I understand the purpose of it so much so that I do not take any single moment for granted.
Absolutely.
So to have a Peller must be only 19 or 18.
Yeah. I think about 19 years old.
And I'm turning plenty age tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how it's like, nah, Baba, we love You know what I'm saying? And he jumped on the live. I'm like, like, that tells you something very positive that, look, what we're doing is pushing. And
there was, you had a conversation in there, banter about inviting him to London. That went viral. I even posted a lot of views on my page. But I saw some commentary, negative commentary, coming from the Ghanaian society.
Alright.
First of all, what are your thoughts? Why was there negativity towards that conversation? Because I didn't get it initially. I didn't get it. What are your thoughts?
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking and needs to be addressed, because in as much as we can't wash our dirty linens outside,
Yes.
it's heartbreaking to realize that in 2025, there's this level of mentality that is still surrounding us as Ghanaian people. And I think a Stonebwoy does really get, some of these unnecessary ones. You go to the Grammys, you're connecting with
Taylor Swift. Yeah, I saw that.
On the whole carpet, ain't nobody talking to her. Hi, we vibe.
You
and
introduced yourself, and there was a
negative reception, by some of
Yes.
the Ghanaian populace.
Yes.
And it's interesting that it becomes the popular narrative,
Topic.
which then destroys the whole quality of what we can churn out of such moments. So you realize that even if there's another class or group of people who will churn and try to push it forward, it's not working. It wouldn't really impact as much, because now instead of propelling on that a moment, we're now defending the moment.
it, and you've lost the
And
momentum.
you've lost the momentum
of
of
benefiting
propelling it. So the same thing is happening now, where a Gen Z little kid like Peller,
Strong influencer.
I'm just doing my life.
Yeah.
It was not planned that, okay, Peller, come on, but no. That tells you the level of influence that a Stonebwoy has.
Wow. And he came on your life.
I had declined it twice because I was not sure. I was just saying, I don't
Who's
even know.
this?
I just see
Yeah.
the name. So it was the Peller that sound. I'm like, okay, let me just, and
Try
even
this one.
Sabinos, let me just accept and see. Because most often I'm skeptical about accepting.
Yeah,
because you don't know
God,
who
who
you're
can
going
come
to.
on and
If you
come and
accept
talk.
that one now, and somebody will just come and say
And say
something,
nonsense.
and that's what they pick.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
social media is life.
Facts.
So I just tried, and then it was like, oh, okay. So you can see the excitement with which we were vibing, and then I tried to rope in as a business mind,
Of course.
rope in the promotional stuff that's going to make people know. And I said, look, I can fly you into London. Does he have a visa? Interesting moment. He went to go check, and then some school is turning it out to be. I didn't realize because I was flying.
Yeah.
That we're in a flight.
Yeah.
So by the time we landed, my road manager sort of like mentioned it slightly that, but why are these people,
Yeah.
And I didn't pay attention initially. Then when I settled and I connected some Wi-Fi, then I'm like,
What's going
so
on?
imagine this is another aspect of it where working this hard, to represent for Ghana and yourself eventually, if I always say this, if I carried a bomb on me and I was caught anywhere in the world,
Yeah,
that's bad name for
Ghana.
not only Ghana,
Yeah.
especially
For
Ghana,
Africa.
but Africa and black people in the world.
Africa.
So it is with the same impact that if I'm pushing something or any, Ghanaian is pushing, should know that is how we should elevate it.
Absolutely.
So I see it, and I was sad one more time because getting into the code, pushing the narrative, working our ways out, trying to have the flag of Ghana and people turning out does not again
It's not the
see the
conversation.
light as much as. So now I begin to feel like, okay, fine. There are classes of people on this social media. There are users. There are a number of users on social media. Ghana is only like about 35 million people.
Yeah.
And I think the active users of social media, I have not checked,
Yeah.
but may not be half of that
Yeah,
number.
probably 2 million.
May not be half of that number.
Maybe 2 million.
Then now it is broken down into different classes where we have the political class, the entertainment class,
Yep.
and then those that the media class
Yep.
inside of those same
Yep.
number. Then now you realize that if we're going to be channeling that type of narrative, then it's going to be like 2 steps forward.
What was negative to them? Did they say that it was you offered Peller to come and you didn't offer a Ghanaian?
That's the narrative I said I was seeing. Like, oh, why would you want to, after the support that you're getting from your core fan base, why wouldn't you have offered to fly in a Ghanaian TikToker rather than a Nigerian TikToker?
And they didn't look at they weren't looking at the marketing opportunity
and
that was going on whilst you were having that conversation.
and that's where the thing is. Now I'd want to say that, you see, it's not all of them, but this is where you know that negativity has a certain kind of traction.
Yeah, it travels
so
faster.
that means that I've come to realize that in our times this time we have to speak up for positivity.
Facts.
They used to say in Ghana that like good bead does not talk. Good beats
Yeah.
like beats
Yeah.
doesn't speak. But you realize that in this ever changing moment,
It's time to
you find
start
out
talking.
that like bullshit, excuse
Flies.
my English,
Yeah.
is being pushed, is being propelled because of substandard and celebration of mediocrity. So excellence is suffering to shine.
Damn. That's deep.
Now you have to now speak for excellence on top of, but that is not the
That's
not
not
the
the
attribute.
essence
That is not
of
the
excellence.
attribute of excellence. Excellence supposed to be
Should
like
not
wealth.
be loud.
It can't be loud. The energy that excellence comes with, the excellence must speak for itself.
The aura.
Because if you're speaking for it now, that means
You've taken away the essence
it's
of
not
it.
what it's supposed to be.
I hear you.
It's just like Dangote now
I hear
coming
you.
to say I'm rich.
rich. Yeah. Now it's
He
cheap.
is really not rich.
Yeah.
So, that's the energy. Because guess what? He can't find the time to come and say that because he's
busy
stuck
working.
busy. Let's just be practical with it. He is so busy working. We have, likes like Ibrahim Mahama in Ghana.
Yeah.
Big boss.
Yeah.
We have likes like, they are not talking.
They don't have time.
These
They're
people
busy
even
working.
wear one kind of shirt, one kind of
Throughout.
thing,
Yeah.
throughout. So you realize that it's heartbreaking. I'm gonna be on this grateful platform, and that's why we're retrogressing as a people. The class that is influencing the trend know nothing. They basically are not educated, and you find out that there are some class of artists also
that follow
who are actually championing
negativity.
that course, because guess what? It gets into
Trends.
the talk, and they're not the ones that are pushing, and so that's what we face as Ghanaians. And I've come to a point where I would want to say I care less now, and when I speak my heart out.
The Ghanaian discussion.
And it's our problem. Big problem.
So the
in Ghana.
Ghanaian discussion, especially with the creative industry, is one that people like myself are extremely passionate about, because I say it all the time. The moment that really took me to the next level in being proud as an African in this country was the Azonto era.
Good.
Your stages, Tiffany's, your rough and smooths, your Castros. That era, I don't think any other country, I don't think any other country will have an era that was so, like, you get into
that defined.
You get into a set, and it's an hour set that is a Ghanaian hip life set.
The book
but
bags,
everybody is happy because all those songs crossed into every culture here.
I mean, it actually was shaping the sound.
It shaped the
Afrobeats.
sound, and it also opened the doors,
of course,
for Afro dance.
Perfect.
Azonto and the success of the Azonto dance moves and the dancers
Exactly.
was actually where the viral energy of Afro dance came from.
Exactly.
So that era for us
and
in
fine-tune
diaspora,
the sound as well, because you find the P Squares, the Whiskey.
everybody, that's where they went to. Whiskey
and
now had the Afrobeats collaboration,
Exactly.
One Day Cole, Two-Face. That era for us, now you can tell how important it is for us.
Yes, very.
Now fast forward to now, where it's the bigger conversation is this. You've got a show on the 8th of March in London. I've just found that out like a week ago. R2B's has a show on the 8th of March in London.
Yeah. I mean, it's not R2B's fault, neither is it my fault.
How did that happen?
Because me and my brother spoke, immediately we spoke, and all this contributes to, of course, why Ghana would be lacking behind, because of a lot of these things, where blames will be shifted here, different classes of people will be pushing different narratives.
Yes.
But meanwhile, the truth is just one. You know what I'm saying? Truth is one.
Yeah.
It's not about my truth or your truth. And it's about what are we doing? What is the purpose? What is the direction that we want to go? And I would clearly want to say on your platform that it's a shame, you know, that it's happening this way, you know, whereby we've tried what we can as my team to, you know, I was just going to even, because we announced early in October.
You announced before the R2B's announcement.
In October. It's not R2B's show. It's promoters.
Okay,
Some promoters who are doing Ghana Independence.
Yes.
Who are booking R2B's.
Alodia and yes.
Aquaba and Alodia. Aquaba, Alodia, and West Coast.
West Coast, yeah.
I actually only find out after the news broke that Alodia and West Coast were involved. But for me, I knew that it's Aquaba who is one Mr. Dennis.
Yes.
You know,
an icon in the game here.
Yes. So it was when I started seeing interviews of West Coast that I realized that, okay, it's all three of them.
Yep.
But I felt like, okay, this is cool because I believe this will be the first time all three promoters
will come together
to do an event.
To do something in recent times.
I believe
Absolutely.
in recent times.
Yeah.
If I'm not
I
lying,
think so.
this will be. I'm proud to that.
Yeah.
They don't see face to face.
Yeah. But it's
and these are stuff that we don't speak about. Proud to that. There's a class that's like an Aquaba artist.
Yeah.
There's a class like an Alodia artist.
Yeah.
And, you know, an Alodia and West Coast are brothers. So most often when you work with Alodia and etc., you might not be able to work with Dennis. So there's that definition or that difference that has been from
in
time
the game. But now they've come together.
But
so how did this, problem, when I found out, I'm saying, so if I mention top 5 artists in Nigeria, Whiskey, Burna Boy, Davido, Ghana, Stonebwoy, Shatawale, R2B, Sarkodie, King Promise,
Kamido, Kidi,
there is no way that we would allow a Davido and a Whiskey on the same day. That is almost a gunshot to our head, to the temple.
Narrative. So guess what? We got the opportunity to meet personally with Aquaba before their announcement. And we got to a conclusion of, okay, if this is what it is, I am willing to stay a week longer.
Wow.
Or a
to
day
do your
after
own show.
To jump on the Ghana Independence one.
Okay.
Owing to the fact that, of course, my birthday is on the 5th. And that was the conclusion we got to. But it didn't suffice because in the end, the announcement that Aquaba would have done still did it. And then the narrative started going.
And that was after your meeting.
That was in January. We had a meeting on January 2nd. January 2nd was when we had the meeting. But my show has been announced
since October.
Yep. Now a class would say that which is what is happening, that why did I not consult?
So you did the consultation.
The legends before I announced my date.
Yep.
Which would sound a little bit weird because really and truly we do not have any such binding agreements.
No, you can choose any date you want to choose.
But
100%.
Yes, so because we're discussing and it's a very, very, very topical issue and I'm only speaking on it here and nowhere else, you know.
Yeah.
A school of thought will say, why did I not? Because they are, in quote, the creme de la creme, the top dogs in the UK.
Yeah.
But guess what? The last electric Brixton that I sold out, I'm the only, I don't want to say only, one of the Ghanaian artists who always tries to involve, especially these two promoters in my event every time. And Smade is my witness. You see what I'm saying? And Smade is my witness. So every time when, you know, we all hire from Live Nation, so we put them together, you know, and every time, you know, so we've been in that level of consultation. We do. So it's not like we're ignoring or we do not accord them their respect or the capacity.
Yeah.
Not to say that we are not, of course, they got the capacity, but it is not a monopoly.
No, of course.
In that term.
Of course.
Okay, that being said, I am running a tour I just came back from. So
is
it not good to announce
fit
everything at the same? So
No,
that's
no,
what
of
we
course.
did. Got the dates, and
Of
even
course.
the dates in America, Live Nation and us, they hire the venue.
Yeah.
So it's like we get it all together.
You have to work with
and then
them.
we announce. For instance, King Promise has announced
Yes.
tours as well.
Now. Yes.
So guess what? So that was how the announcement came. It's just like you feeling like we should have consulted you before any date in the UK. That notwithstanding, I don't believe that that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, now the dates are out. Then now, we had a meeting after we find out that you had expressed, which is Mr. Dennis, had expressed a certain level of displeasure to my London manager, which is Casey.
Yeah.
Speaking about certain things of that I have disrespected him and so on and so forth, and expressed displeasure among certain other groups of people here in the UK, and then directly to my guy. Fortunately for him, he was in Ghana. Fortunately for me, he was in Ghana, and my guy was in Ghana. January,
Yeah.
So immediately Casey came to my yard and said, "No, bro, but what happened?" And then I'm like, "What's happening?" He came and said, "Yo, this is what Dennis said." He called me on the side. I said, "Yo, bro, Dennis is saying you disrespected him, blah, 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 blah. And and he just find out you're doing a show too, and he also has a date on that show, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, okay, fine. 10 shows can go on in one day, irrespective.
Yeah.
I have done
different
shows,
cultures, absolutely.
I have done shows in Ghana where,
I saw that in December. King Promise can have on the same day and
yes,
stuff.
and it's not like
that.
somebody wants to, put anybody down. But when we do find out the reason where he himself has expressed, respectfully, his displeasure and the reason why he would do such, and he announced it to my manager, and that's how I called him on the phone and said, "Boss, but is that the issue? Okay, wherever you are, let me meet you. I hear you say you want to what? Punish me." That's the word you use. And I feel like it's out of way to say. So, okay, I want to meet up with you then. Send me your location. I'll meet up with you. If it is that you want to punish me, let's see what it is at least first. Those are his words. I drove with my guys, blah, blah, blah. We had a show that evening.
Yeah.
We ended up canceling one of the appearances that we had to do because we went there. Got there, and then there are videos to that effect. So, Baba, now meet this now.
No way.
Now. So we got there, we had a meeting. So we chatted. He said, "Oh, it was not let me just let it out over here at once, bro, because the world must know sometimes." You feel me? So his talk was like a year ago on the same 2nd January, because the British High Commission does soiree,
Yep.
So a year ago, he said I had disrespected him, that way. And I'm like, how? Okay. Me, Stonebwoy, Small God, and a few in the Small God was with me, toe to toe, at that British High Commissioner event. I was having a conversation with the ambassador and a few people. Stonebwoy goes into a space and it's photo sessions. So I hardly go out. So whilst we were about it, somebody tapped me and, attend. That was another guy we know, Frankie.
Yeah.
Frankie says, "Oh, Akwaba is calling you." Akwaba says, "Come." But I was speaking with
two other people,
the ambassador and his
the
people.
High Commissioner.
So I'm like, take it easy. Like, that thing,
Yeah.
And then he tried hold me up again to it. Very, very weird and uncomfortable. Small God now my witness now. So even him was like, so we just be like, okay, fine. I felt a certain way. I felt some kind of way.
Yeah.
I felt like I was being put to a test to try to see whether, but I know now. I know it's your Aqua, but yes, let me finish with the ambassador now. We're here now. We'll come and Frankie, you know that too. So we cut it abrupt because it was becoming awkward. Then me and Small God walked to him. But in that space, when I turned, I saw that he was looking on for the person where he sent
to come and touch you.
So when in that space, I see he was watching.
Yeah.
Then we just left it and went and met. So when we went to him, it became awkward still. I don't remember what he said. Small God is my witness. He was there. He didn't really say anything. We just say hi, hey, and then I just moved. So on our way back to face our normal conversation now, me and Small God were saying about what was the essence of that one now.
Maybe it was the energy that he saw.
What was the essence of that one now? And we know, look, people are afraid to say certain things. When it is against Stonebwoy, they come blah, 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 because they know Stonebwoy don't speak. So I'm like, okay. it felt just like it felt like I don't know, it felt like a trap to try to see whether I would react. I was just confused about it. So the next day, I messaged Frankie that, bro, that thing you guys put up at the BHC.
So that thing was in your mind.
I was hurt. So I said, that thing you guys put up at the BHC now was not nice now. You know, I have a lot of respect for these people. Yo, I ask anybody who knows what's up to come out any day after they see this podcast and come out to the world and say, Stonebwoy is a bad person. This is what he has done. This is it. This is that. And let's see. I respect everybody, but that was a bit, you know. And Small God is my witness. I repeat, right there. He's an industry person too. So we're like, so the next day, I messaged my you know, our top boss, which is Mr. Denda. I said, boss, I don't think what you put up was really, you know, I have to be honest.
So he must have felt disrespected by that message.
Yes,
that
and
you sent.
he has the message, I have the message too. I well constructed the message nicely, and I let it out of my chest because I'm not one of those artists who would disrespect anybody openly and take a phone. We have examples of, you know, that.
And go on Instagram
and blah, blah, blah. No, it's respectful. We can speak to each other.
Privately.
Kids, sons speak to fathers.
100%.
Elders. You know, we're in
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So that was, and then he in turn replied and said, thank you on that message. I definitely know it felt a little bit because there was no expectation of me expressing myself in that manner. So that was what had happened a year ago. And we had hardly spoken throughout. But within that moment, West Coast came to send a message. He went on a podcast and showed their interest of even having me on the 8th of March or on October 19th.
Yep.
But believe you me, I may have probably read the message and maybe directed him to, because this is Alodia now. He knows Casey lives in UK, Chief and everybody. How to get me, Stonebwoy is not his own manager, of course.
Easy. Just speak to the team.
So you know the things that go over our heads. Even our families sometimes don't get replies.
So many messages we open that we don't respond to. All of us are guilty of it. Nobody can.
So because we have our own plans also. Anyway, that notwithstanding. But also again, for the same Alodia and the team, there have been open discredit to the Stonebwoy brand in several ways. The Stonebwoy brand is not known in the UK. Stonebwoy brand is nobody in the UK, which is on record. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, so should you even be engaging this guy that has no for your show at all? Should you? When there have been narratives that is belittling the same brand that you would have used at a point in time, that being in the spot, okay. So that was what he said he was angry about. But nonetheless, immediately I got to know, guess what I did? I called.
You reached out.
I reached out. We had a meeting and we said, okay, fine. It concluded in, we shook hands, and I even did endorsement for all of the shows that was going to be in that weekend.
Yeah.
That I'm willing, I'm ready. So as I speak to you now, I should have left the UK tomorrow, on the 9th after my show, back to Ghana. But guess what? Because of that talk that we did, I moved my date a week after. I said that even if his goes on the 8th, I'm good. And I'm here in the UK already. I arrived on the 2nd. So should it happen on the 8th, on the 7th, I'm good. On the 4th, I'm good. On the 3rd, I'm good.
Either way,
should it happen on the 9th, I'm good.
Do yours
However, so this is what we have also, planned. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? Now I've moved to the 15th now because of that understanding that we had. It was a proactive movement from my side.
Hoping that was on the 2nd of January conversation.
Hoping that when they eventually announced
the movement,
we would have prepared already because we know the discussions behind the scene. And then he was like, oh, it was not for any reason that he was actually calling me. He only wanted to thank me for coming to the British High Commission soiree. When he's not the one who invited me, we got, you can't go to the BHC like that. You need to get an invite from them. So that already is like an off-topic situation. But, you give it to the elderly like, it's one of those.
Of course.
It's only when the elderly sometimes don't want to accept the responsibility of also being capable of making
Mistakes.
making steps that can hurt kids. Because even the Bible says that parents, check how you deal with your kids in Proverbs,
100%.
and kids check. So we're living in a
100%.
society where I think that if you follow ego too much, we are going to all crash because we're living together. Kids can. So I believe that I was not in any capacity to have reacted to him in terms of even sending a message to say this is it. And the message is clear. There was no disrespectful words. The message was just an expression.
It was an expression
of myself.
It was a hard message.
Yes.
Obviously, as an Egbon, if you receive that kind of message.
And it was not
as
disrespectful.
Africa,
it was like,
it's just,
boss, but
you're just saying, brother,
it was like, boss,
I'm
what
not
happened?
happy
I'm
with
not
what
happy.
you did yesterday.
I said I was not too happy because, sending somebody to come and drag me to you, literally in the middle of a conversation, it's just like,
you just weren't happy with it.
So I told him I'm not happy, so I beg him. You know that we all have to be in positions to respect our elderly. But if the elderly does not be in a position to get the respect, then it will seem as if we are disrespecting them. That was the context of the message. So that was what has struck him the whole time. So now at least I came and then we sort of like made it, we squashed that, I think we squashed. I think we squashed.
You had the meeting.
We had the meeting. So that was it. So the next moment we saw that he had actually gone ahead to announce
the same date.
The same date. So immediately I called R2B's, Moogies.
That's what I wanted.
Like big brothers.
Exactly. So
and
that's
I said, bro,
for me.
we had a good conversation. I'm like, it's not like I'm trying to go against. So he said, no. And guess what? Every artist, I'm gonna put it here now because we need to bring the conversation to the fore so that Ghana can prosper. Else we will be lying to ourselves.
Ghana must prosper.
We will be lying to ourselves because we all have a role to play.
Cannot prosper if Ghana does not represent.
Exactly.
So
and now I think Nigeria has prospered.
So that's the thing.
And Ghana, who would have been a contributor,
huge.
I've seen the Afrobeat documentary, which one of Nigeria, and I was in that documentary.
Huge.
And Akwaba and them have been doing events from here from 1989.
Incredible.
But we've not been able to fill up the O2 arena yet from 1989.
But that's not.
And it is not entirely Akwaba's problem.
That's not exactly. That's not the promoters.
In 1989, I was only 1 year old. So for me to get to this point to be a part of the problem, that means that there's a system that I came to meet.
I see where you're going.
That means there's a system that I came to meet. So
how are we going to fix it? Because this is what I want to. The first thing I'm happy that you've done is that you've spoken to
no,
R2Bs.
and this is the first.
I'm happy.
So hold on. Thank you for bringing me back to that. So I spoke to R2Bs. They're my elder brothers. We've come from way, and they know the level of respect. Payday can attest to it to you. Moogies can attest to you.
Those are great.
That the kind of respect that Stonebwoy has for these two brothers is huge. Great. I'm being clear. So I called, we link, I expressed everything. I said this, and then they even, because we know, look, I was about to say that point, the artists know, the senior artists I even called Samini to even explain my part to him, because over the years, there's been a few discord. But in December, I took the opportunity, I took it upon myself after my concert on the 22nd, huge concert. I went to his house the next night, alone. I said, Godfather, you know you are my big brother.
Serious politics.
Everything that is happening, that has happened, I think there's a lot of things that have worked against us. But I love you like my big brother, and I'm your son, basically, or your little brother.
Remove the middle players.
Immediately, by the grace of God, we found that grace immediately.
That's amazing.
And that is a thing that I think I mentioned once. And following up to that, me and my big brother, and he's a legend, he's a superstar. He's a sound changer pioneer. And I refer to him as my big brother because guess what? Things have happened, but I've stayed true. I've stayed loyal. I've stayed solid, to the calling. So I speak with him from time to time. So I spoke to him as well. I said, Baba, make I cue you for this one where they happen. So say, so that in case anything, you are well aware. And even you can also judge. Even you as a senior brother can. So I even spoke to him on that, case. So we're all good. We all definitely did. They did express some
Of course.
pointers
Of course.
that, it's not everything that can be out.
Of course. Of course.
But owing to this one, we all know what we're dealing with, and we say, all right, cool. So for me, I'll just face it. Now, moving forward, I call my lawyer here in the UK, and we're having a discussion. Then I say, look, I don't mind cancelling my show. I don't mind. Because for what? I don't mind. In as much as I don't mind, bro. What? Because I've been here. The first show that brought me to the UK is Ghana Independence through Alodia. Yeah. We've been hustling through
back
here
and forth
from East London.
Facts.
Those were the times we would come and sleep in people's houses.
Facts.
4 of us in one bed.
Yeah.
Still pushing the Afro Dancehall initiative with Big Nash.
Yeah.
I'm the one who said, Big Nash, let's be doing some Afro Dancehall shows because I'll be here for like a month. So every weekend we'll go Gold Coast. There's a place called Gold Coast.
In South London, around Croydon.
So we have all paid our dues as well to be able to bring. And today, if we're here today, it's by the grace of God and hard work.
And your
and
effort.
Hard work and effort. Yeah. And everybody knows the Stonebwoy story, brother. From ground to this point where we're still pushing. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just about it. And it's a shame that on the 8th, it's happening like this. But guess what? If there are other shows on that day, no problem.
I also saw the Red Bull Culture Clash.
Yes. So guess what? It's no problem.
So for me,
but the reason behind, you understand? The reason behind the Ghanaian one happening the way it is, especially between the Ghana Independence and my up and running tour, could have been avoided. Could have definitely been avoided. Should have been avoided. So it tends back to be a matter of, I think a personal matter of ego, on the side of our senior brothers, which will be the Akwabas, etc.
I just think,
and I think, in all honesty, all I did was to express myself, to a senior brother for the fact that this was what it was.
I'll speak to Dennis.
And I spoke to Small God, I think last week as well, and we're like, bro, you should. I'm like, bro,
I'll speak to Dennis. I'll speak to Alodia. I want to get their thoughts.
Of course you will.
I want to make sure that we find a medium to ensure that this never happens again. And number 2, when we're speaking about the culture as well, one of the things that I want us to start thinking of, especially in 2025, is that we have to, even though the business is on the table, your Live Nations and all of these people, we need to key them into the culture. When conversations of dates that are this sensitive, the Ghana Independence date and stuff, and they've brought business to the table, yes, we can work with them, but let's make sure they know the wider ramifications of such dates sometimes. That are there going to be other shows that can affect our business, or is it going to be a clean slate for us? Because sometimes,
don't you think it's not the duty of the venue guy?
No.
To know.
So that's why I'm saying that we have to. That's what I'm saying.
It's not the duty of the venue guy. He's hiring.
That's what I'm saying. That we now need to bring them into the culture to let them know. And this is not only for you, even for the Red Bull Culture Clash. Red Bull Culture Clash is on the same day with Spice, DJ Spinner. It's dancehall and Afrobeats. So that's a big day. But what they're doing now, having a show on the day that Stonebwoy has a show and R2Beats has a show, is basically telling us that the Culture Clash, they don't want any Ghanaians there. Because how are you gonna have me on a day where there's Davido and Burna Boy, and then you're doing an Afrobeats dancehall culture clash somewhere else, and you expect me to be there? It's part of not tapping into the culture too. There is no way, there's no Afrobeats culture clash that you are not going to go to a Stonebwoy record or R2B's record.
Yeah, I actually recorded a few dub plates for the culture clash. My demography
is dancehall. Your constituency is dancehall. So it's part of making sure that people are culturally aware.
You're very right but that's a broader perspective to look at it from, which would involve, I think, contributing to that, which would involve a lot of stakeholder relationships, or stakeholder meetings, so that it ties into a bigger narrative of the whole culture.
We're pushing the whole culture.
But that is where that is the exams. That
We
is
have
the
to
examination
answer.
that we have to answer to. So until we score excellence, we're all going to be trying in our small ways to continue to contribute to,
Absolutely.
what we got to do.
This quickly, this is going to be the final segment of our conversation. Up and Running tour, that's for the album.
Yeah.
When the album dropped, first of all, I have to commend you on the musicality of the album. That album kind of has everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's real high life in there.
JJ comes in with Nanue no cover you. Boom.
That's like, for me, that was so
That song is like
incredible.
well received.
Oh
I think
my
they're doing some
God.
Yoruba dance to it, like,
It
bro.
was amazing.
And shout outs to a guy, this one. He's also like a comedian, skit guy.
Yeah.
The other day, a video was running where he was emceeing a wedding and said, "Hey DJ, give me that one." Nanue.
No, that's a
Beautiful.
that album is well rounded. That is Stonebwoy at his best. Afro dancehall, high life, Afrobeats, blah blah blah. But when I looked at the project, it's not on Def Jam, is it?
It's not on Def Jam.
So you're done with Def Jam.
Yes, for now.
How
We
does
might
that
get
work?
into another conversation
So you
later.
took a break and put out a project.
Right. So, the Def Jam one was for the Fifth Dimension album, the Hot Storms.
Yes, the fifth.
Then, we finished that because that was for the album.
Yeah.
So the contract was done for the album, basically. So there was, opening to continue
other conversations.
projects.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation with ADA, Warner Music, and distributed the Up and Running with them. But it has always been Burniton Music Group, which is my own.
That's your own platform.
My own label. So my own label has been partnering with these labels to do all my projects, which is really like, for those who understand the industry business, it is not an investment venture.
Yep.
Neither is it a 360 venture, but it's a partnership
Joint
to release projects. So you have to take care of majority of, your own stake.
You do everything.
So I do everything literally, basically.
Wow.
So I want to state this so that, there is a school of thought from Ghana again. I think the Ghanaian, I need to put it, well, how do I, you see the Ghanaian mentality that speaks largely around the creative should be more informed, and for somebody who wants to get informed, I think they have an open mind of not having any prejudice.
No prejudgments,
But
nothing.
You find out that most of them are coming in with some prejudice already, so they don't really get the information. It is equal to a Stonebwoy being independent. For the kind of deals that Burniton Music Group, it is equal to being independent. So from that time to this time, with an immense push, I needed to state this so that somebody will be encouraged. Because there's
so you can do it as an independent.
Somebody will be encouraged in terms of actually partnering with labels,
major labels,
depending on whatever contractual agreements that you guys
and
have.
still maintaining your independence creatively and even business-wise going
I
forward.
wouldn't mind going 360. It depends on what the terms are saying on the paper.
Facts. No.
But what I want to point at, because you see, you are enlightened,
Facts.
so you're taking on that. The thing is, for a typical Ghanaian artist, an independent artist feels a certain level of, if it is not because of that guy is working with some label, I could have done. I'll be doing better. You see that mentality. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you're working with label. That's why you're.
It's label backing. It's not only Ghana. They say it in Nigeria too, and I have to say it all the time.
So they tend to say like maybe some like Whiskey Burner.
It's because of
people
Sony
don't know what they are doing behind.
Davido's album that's coming out in April.
Yeah,
David has been programming that album since September, October.
I'm happy
putting a lot of work in.
Yes.
The meetings that he's having all around the world, Burna Boy is the same thing.
Definitely.
I have this discussion.
The spaceship for him, you have to be grinding from behind. So I needed to let them know so that
there's no major label. So the way I say it is, there's no magic wand that the major label is going to do. They're still going to run on your engine.
Thank you.
No special
They
benefits.
can supplement, they can complement, and of course, for those who are privileged to be able to meet certain standards, then you get to unlock certain doors as well within that
with your own
environment.
That tap that you gave Taylor Swift.
Now
That's your own connection that could have brought a collaboration that the label can benefit from.
To the narrative that could have, of course. I mean the features thereof. You're very right.
That's your relationship.
I mean, on my last project, there are songs that was done with certain names that they were expecting for that to come on their side. And I'm like, bro,
now you go do it.
You guys, we did the best we can, but you guys have to also capacitate us.
Facts.
You don't leave us to, and you guys have the capacity.
Facts.
In the West,
bridge those relationships.
The West, basically, to bridge. So I need people to know some type of realities on this Afrobeats podcast, and this is where it is. I mean, so today I've let out a lot of.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, as usual, because I'm really grateful, and shout out to all of my people. Today's your birthday.
Today's my birthday. The family had plans for me, but I'm like, nah, man, Stonebwoy is in town. Let me go catch up with my brother. Important conversation. We haven't sat down in a while.
God bless you.
Thank you,
and
brother.
I owe you a gift.
Always.
So, I of course, now. So I go tailor that one.
A must. There's
Please,
no way we're going anywhere.
I go tailor that one.
Must.
I go tailor
Today's
that
my
one.
birthday. I left everything to come and sit down with Stonebwoy.
I will tailor that one.
So I FaceTime Smade.
It is not a Lamborghini that will come. Let me be clear. It is not a Lambo.
They buy Lambo.
If we reach Lambo, we'll go buy him. But I won't make a statement clear. Not be Lambo.
But wait. Obviously, you're married. But before you were married, did women expect ridiculous gifts because they were hanging out with the Stonebwoy? Such as, would they ask those questions?
But even after marriage,
Madame Figo ask.
Even after marriage, yesterday, she sent me a DM, and she sent me. I swear I can read it if anybody dares me. She said, she sent a video of somebody. Is a thing on IG.
Yeah.
The husband was like, the girl said she checked her alert and she got some money from the husband.
Yeah.
But she was in a hall.
Yeah.
And then the guy was in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So as the alert hit, the girl said, babes, thanks for sending. The husband and wife did that too.
Yeah.
And then the husband said, don't thank me in the
come
hall
here
now.
in
Come
the
up
room.
and thank me now. So wifey said it to me and said, hey, you see, you guys are still paying even in marriage. So now she said that. So I'm like, you see, it's there. The paying is going on.
It's forever.
Even in marriage, you go to pay. So how much more before? Please. So it's a conversation. Yeah, it's an understanding. It's agreement.
It's agreement.
But even so, some girls have expectations that have never been discussed. They'll tell their friend, I was expecting like at least the way he is, who he is, he would have done this.
But they didn't discuss it with you.
If those ones do come out, that's when you know that. But you never discuss out now. That's the only way you can have a leeway. If it was never discussed.
I
now,
didn't know
if
that.
it's discussed on top. But in my own opinion, the world that we're living in right now,
crazy.
bro, it's like...
It's crazy, bro.
It has been crazy. Will remain crazy.
Absolutely.
And will forever be crazy. Let us just find peace as we get crazy. That's all.
And this, ladies and gentlemen...
But Lambo is good now.
Why you not go there good? 300,000 or whatever thousand.
As Tenny is saying, you need to cry. You know those things they say.
It's better to cry in a Lambo.
But believe me, you will forget that it's Lambo that you are crying,
When tears
I think
come.
it's temporary. When that cry is crying, sometimes you would wish to just be at the beach side chilling and be happy. Sometimes you wish to be in a single room happy than being
in a mansion
crying, because let's be real, let's be honest. Some of the things excite us. But for a conscious brother like myself, I believe that peace and joy and happiness can never be overrated.
To be honest with you, that's a Paishan speaking. That's exactly my words.
Respect.
My son asked me this morning when I was dropping him at school, Dad, so what really would you want today? I said, you really want to know? He said, yes. I said, just some peace and watch some TV.
Bro, but this is a coincidence too.
Say,
my wife asked me what I was going to do on my birthday, and she would have flown in yesterday. I said, please, I want to be alone.
Let me just
and she
relax.
understands me. So she's
I just
coming in
want a date.
afterwards, and I just want to
I'm with
see
my
everybody
guys
going.
to play games.
You know what I'm saying?
No, nothing crazy.
Something
bro.
little pan, hair
Hey.
pants, or mix up.
Any kind of
And
woman,
peace. You know what
whether
I'm
it's a 70-year-old woman or a 3-year-old girl, they know how to celebrate birthdays.
Exactly. Of course.
Aye.
Of course. So my son's birthday was like his Pisces too. So and even yesterday, we passed through Frost of London, Joseph Frost.
Let's pick one or two things.
Madam,
show them for there. Say no worry.
And then we even gave out. We did like a quick, unplanned rough draw, and then we gave out some nice jewelry. We're going to give it on the day of the show.
That's amazing.
For people who come out. So
Once
of course,
again,
I know say I owe you.
Listen, that was guaranteed.
You they owe me too
No
now.
guarantee, my brother. You already know.
I give you.
Of course, and I'm going to be at your.
Of course now, and I'm really grateful, man.
Once
Thank you
again,
so much.
the 8th of March, my brother Stonebwoy is in London at Shepherd's Bush Empire. Sold out the Electric Brixton last year. One of the most incredible, empowering shows I've been to. Really, really enjoyed myself at your show. You are one of the most entertaining performers out of Africa. It's an honor to watch you on stage and watch you perform. There is nowhere you go, you represent your people well. You represent your culture well. You represent the music well. Your talent is there for everybody to see. Whatever discussions can be had all around the world, nothing can be negative about your art, your talent, your perseverance, your effort, and your impact on the culture. So it's an honor to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Stonebwoy!
Bim, 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 bim. Wow.
The Afrobeats Podcast.
Right.